Okay, and now it's time for Area 24. Episode 24 of the podcast you're listening to right now, which is Eat, Drink, and Be Scary, which is a podcast that we do what, Tanya?
We eat and we drink and we talk about paranormal things and such.
And what are we eating today?
Curds.
And why?
Because we're talking about curds.
Kurtz's places. Places that are curds.
This place.
Curse.
Curds.
All right, that's cheesy. All right, so we're talking about cursed places. And we've had a little bit of a discussion of the definition of what makes a place cursed. Whether it's cursed because somebody placed a curse on it, or for some reason the place just seems weird for some reason that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. And I don't think we came to a conclusion on this, but we are going to have a variety of different types. And with us today, we've got, I'll just say hi. Just stand up. Stand up when I say your name. Ryan, nice stand up. Okay, now Tom.
He just nodded.
Okay, Tanya, go ahead. Oh, Tanya actually did stand up. And I'm Bill.
Hokey pokey, does that count?
And I'm saluting.
And so with that, let's talk about a couple of cursed places. I know, Tom, you've got one that you want to talk about first, and let's have you start with that.
Yeah, if there's a place that everybody knows, it's got to be King Tut's tomb, right? The Curse of the Pharaohs. Where in 1922, Howard Carter finds King Tut's untouched tomb, opens it up, and then promptly sets his curse ahead that kills everybody over the next 70 years. But
You're going to die of old age. Oh, no.
mesothelioma.
Okay, so I know there was... Explain some of the deaths on that. Because
Well, did they say this place must be cursed because these things are happening, or was there somewhere that said...
Well, you open up the tomb.
Was that written on the tomb?
Everything is after the fact. So everybody talks about, there's about 10 deaths that have been attributed to this actual Pharaoh's curse, and they've been pretty much attributed to the whole, just the opening of King Tut's tomb. So when they say the Pharaoh's curse, it's because it's supposed to be for all pharaohs, all important people of Egypt, if you disturb their death place, and this is going to become, befall you anyway. But some of the deaths came, they're mostly just circumstantial deaths, and that's kind of what I was going to point at. And at the beginning of this one, with all the research I've done, while curses for the places like that have been around for a long time and they've spoken about them, really who perpetuated those curse rumors was Mr. Carter himself, because he doesn't want to have anybody coming in when they were going to have to try and take the next 10 years to excavate this and properly catalog it, to have a bunch of people coming in and taking everything like they already had out of the Valley of Kings. So really, he just put this story out there to keep people away, and it's worked so well.
This is your opinion?
This is actual history. This is what happened. It's pretty much that they've decided this is the only thing that's even perpetuated this myth, is because he put it out there himself, and that they pretty much, the press ran with that because they wanted to keep people away from there, and we all believe it 100 years later. Because honestly, all of those people, when you look into it, they didn't die of any real curse. They actually all lived a pretty significant amount of time after that. And I don't think anybody died within... some people died within the next year, but they were already exhibiting signs of being sick before they ever went to Cairo. And some people died 16 up to 60 years later, and they still attribute it to the curse. So, unless it's a really slow-acting curse.
I feel like...
It takes 90 years for it to take effect.
You're fine, but you're still cursed.
Well, but the main guy died a year after.
He did not, actually. Alan Carter died. He lived significantly much longer. He was there for 10 years excavating it, and then he left and he did some other significant things. I think he died in his 60s.
Oh, no, it's the guy who financed it. The guy who has it, his name is George Edward Stanhope Molyneux Herbert. He is the fifth Earl of... Yeah, he's the one that died.
He died from having to say his name out loud.
It's exhausting. I got asthma from that.
He actually died of gangrene, I think, of everything else. And that's pretty common for that time.
Also, it said he had poor health before he got to Cairo.
Right, before he ever got there.
I feel like the sign in front of the tomb just said no trespassing, but it was written in Egyptian and no one knew how to read it.
It's kind of, but it could be also one of those things where you don't want people going there. So like if you've got friends that are going to come over and they're like, hey, we want to come over Saturday. And you go, oh, you know what? We all have the flu.
Yeah. All of
So
us
don't
were really
come over.
sick.
And you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's cool. I don't have to go. I'll just stay out.
Yeah.
I feel that may have been kind of what it was like. Hey, we all want to come get your gold. Oh, no, I can't. We all have a curse here. Oh. All right. No, that's okay. We don't have to come over. We'll just go somewhere else.
Exactly. And I mean, it works.
You know, okay, so this is a weird tangent, but I know it's one of the things we talked about, and it's a curse that we were going to talk about just for a second, but it's the Poltergeist movie curse, which I always kind of put with the whole King Tut curse, because there's a volume of people working on this thing and over amount of time. And let's just say over the 3 films of Poltergeist, there's probably 150 people that worked on that movie. If I know 150 people right now in probably an 8-year period, 10 of them are probably going to be dead. There's a chance. 6. All right. So if you say, oh, Bill knew all those people, he must be cursed. Well, it's just like saying, oh, they all worked on that movie, so the movie must be cursed. Like, the odds are people are just going to die anyway.
Well, right. I mean, like, it's just like religion. If you want to draw lines, you can draw them anywhere you want. Like, you can connect the dots any way you want to connect them and make them look like whatever picture you're trying to draw. If you had that in mind in the first place, you just wait till that stuff comes up and say, hey, look, that guy died. Let's put it back like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
There was thing. Okay, so this one says Kavanaugh's daughter died in 1980, a full 70 years later. Yeah, that sounds like the curse.
He discovered it in 1922.
And then
somebody else died because they were related to somebody who was there during discovery. I mean, Alan Carter died of lymphoma, which is pretty much cancer of your lymph nodes, which he could have very possibly gotten from working there for 10 years. Like, scientifically, that makes sense. But is that really a curse, or is that the same as like all those guys who died of mesothelioma because they worked on like battleships and entire factories for 30 years?
It's not curse, it's nature.
Right, it's not a curse, it's our general stupidity as human nature.
I mean, what he died, Tut was entombed in what, like the 1300s?
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, you think about all the stuff that was untouched there for so long. And
oh, right. I mean, if you're stirring up old dirt and stuff, I have dirt allergies. I mean, it doesn't take much to get me sneezing.
Hey, I bet they were still using asbestos back then, right? So that
You're
was
right,
it.
asbestos wrap.
They're like, oh, yeah, we didn't know any better. We had asbestos and lead paint. Sorry, all our hieroglyphics were lead paint. You all now have the cancer. Sorry, we're watching.
That was a long weird
Well, we're
pause.
watching. What? She's waving her arm.
Oh, yeah, the weed spray.
Roundup.
Oh, Roundup.
Oh, Roundup. There we go. You can use words. This isn't. It's not charades. Sounds like 2 words. It's a movie.
Like actions over here.
Die Hard.
So-
I get it.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true. The Roundup thing is causing that exact same thing right now. We used it for 50 years.
They didn't know
thinking it
not
was
to use
fine.
Roundup. They probably used tons. There was no weeds in that.
I know
area.
somebody right
None.
now who has cancer from that. So and that's just ridiculous, the stuff that we've gone through. So yeah, I'm sure he died because he went in there and he was just throwing up all sorts of 1,000-year-old dirt and breathing it in. I mean, you're breathing in dead guy, pretty much. So
You're breathing in dead guy.
a king.
That's gross.
I bet people would pay money for the.
Oh, I got
effervescence
King
of
Tut
dead
in my
guy.
nose.
Well, I bought recently some mummy brown paint. Have you ever heard of that?
Was it expensive?
Yeah.
Good. Did they ring the mummy?
No, they make it out of mummies.
No, what?
What?
Look up mummy brown paint.
No, I'm not falling for this.
I'm sorry.
I am 100%
Mummy
true.
brown paint?
What are they?
It's just a color.
That's what they make it out of, homie.
It's like Vampire Gray.
No, I bought this shit.
Vampire gray. The problem is every time you put it in the light, it disappears. Vampire gray.
Well, back
can't see it
in
in
the
a
day, I know that things like that's actually how, like,
Yeah.
originally when they were hand making
I bought it
paints.
from a guy in Canada who that's what he does.
He made it
Found
from a
some
real
mummies
mummy?
and thought, you know what I could do?
Where's he getting these
I've got a
mummies?
coffee
Like, is he
grinder.
killing people and putting them in their basement?
I don't
Or
care how he does it, but I got some.
That was my thought too. Like, as a production thing, how early do you have to start that? How many mummies do you have to have to get a batch of paint?
Hey, this is a fresh kill. I killed this person on Tuesday.
Yeah, I can't process this for 10 years.
I don't know, man.
So, are you looking this up?
Of course.
And tell me-
Again, that's my job.
Yeah. What'd you find out?
So, mummy brown, also
Ryan's
called
full of
Egyptian
shit.
brown, is a rich brown by bituminous pigment, an intermediate in tint between burnt umber and raw umber. It was a favorite color of one of the pre-Raphaelites.
King Tut loves it.
But it was originally made in the 16th and 17th centuries from white pitch, myrrh, and the ground up remains of Egyptian mummies,
Say what?
both human and feline.
Say
Oh,
what?
it's a cat. You hear that?
I
It's
don't care.
cat.
It's still
Cat.
money.
Mummy.
Cat,
Like
yeah.
they mummified cats.
I found this cat on the side of the road and I'm painting it. Ooh.
House is pretty now.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about cursed places, why hasn't anyone brought up Tom's genitals?
Because
Is it cursed for Tom or anyone that goes there?
it's like another
both.
60-year effect curse. That's probably why nobody's talking about
gives
it.
you
Wait,
cancer
after
after 10
I'm
years?
gone, then people, 100 years, people will be talking about
That
it.
7-year itch.
I had sex with Tom, and 65 years later, I died.
I died. It was cursed.
Notice I did that in a man's voice. That was a man's voice. Yeah, I had sex with Tom, and he paid me $50. I only died inside.
So, Mummy Brown.
Yes.
It's a cool color.
It's a real.
So that you're-
and actually, when you said it was made from ground up mummies, it reminded me from art school. Yeah, that's a real thing because a long time ago they made paint out of all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, all the greens killed you.
Blues, too. Blues are very, very deadly.
And you,
Cobalt blue is extremely poisonous.
oh, well, don't eat it. Why would you eat it?
Tell you,
I painted this banana for you. So I want to talk more about what are you going to paint with this mummy paint?
I'm not going to paint anything.
Well, they. Are you just bought it as a kind of an
If
artifact?
you get a mummy that
No,
looks
it's
a
just because
little
he's too lazy
new,
to get any painting done. He bought it and it's going to sit in his garage forever. Like, when are you going to get around to painting the mummy? Get off my back! That's Ryan. I'll do it when I do it.
It was a gift for Danny, who's a painter.
It's just getting more authentic though as it sits there, right? The color.
Yeah, well, all right. So beyond King Tut's tomb in the movie Poltergeist and Tom's genitals, what other cursed places are on the top tips of your tongues?
So,
not the tip of your.
I mean, this
that's tip of your-
Sounds terrible
this one
when you
is
put it like that.
this one's modern day ish. Yeah, I would say modern day. I am not much into the sports, but
the sports. I like it.
for those that are, and especially baseball, Fenway Park was cursed for a very long time. And it was the curse of the Bambino when Babe Ruth played there.
Yeah,
And it was an 86-year-long bad luck plague curse that finally ended in 2004.
See, what starts these curses? Like, because obviously the Pharaoh's curse was supposed to be, I mean, they're Egyptian and they're mystic and they were buried there. And if you screw with them, they're going to screw with you. That kind of like, you know, is believable. But like some fat guy who hits a lot of home runs.
Okay. A curse, it depends on the direction of causality. And what I mean by that is, what type of curse are we dealing with? Are we dealing with someone saying, I curse you, or this place is cursed because nothing goes right? There's two different types of curses.
Well, right. I mean, is it a curse retroactively? We're going to look back and say this streak of bad luck is now a curse because of one certain incident that we can peg it on? Or is it from now on, if this thing happens at this place, it unleashes this curse that I'm setting upon it now?
Well, I think there's curses can happen to that point from lots of different ways because it either happens because X, Y happened, or like you guys said, something happened and then there was a reaction saying, I curse this, or I'm going to curse this so no one messes with it. I don't think their curses are not definite, like aren't defined into one tiny little box.
Are they like fairies then, that they have to have belief in them?
And does a curse, like, what is the longevity of a curse?
well, okay, so I'll give you, if you want to talk about
80 years
sports.
at Fenway, apparently.
Well, do you want to talk about the sports curse? There's the 1945 Cubs Billy Goat curse. No, I don't know if you guys know that one.
Yep, the goat.
So one of the local bar owners brought his goat down there, and his goat stunk, was bothering people, so they kicked him out. And he said, "You guys will never," and it was during the World Series. "You guys will never win another championship again." And that was in 1945, and the Cubs didn't make it. They didn't win another national title. He said, "You'll never win one in my lifetime." He died when he was 71, but they didn't make it to the playoffs again until 2016, and they didn't win until 2018 World Series. But that's the guy stood there and he's like, "You're all gonna die," and by that he means like.
And I guess at that point, I mean, I doubt it's because of this, but does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy where if someone says, "I curse you to blah blah blah," and you think, "Oh my God, I'm now cursed because of blah blah blah."
Right, that's what I was saying. It takes belief in the curse for the curse to exist at all, right? Because if collectively we all just decide this is bullshit, would it then just go away?
Well, it's like when you tell somebody, "Hey, don't trip when you go up those stairs," and they're like, "Why'd you say that?" And then you trip. It's like, "Hey, don't go out, don't drop the ball when you go in the outfield," and they're like, "Well, now that's all I'm going to think about."
Oh, right.
And then you drop the ball because you overthink it. Could it be that? Like, there's no way we can win this.
Well, then curses like that must have an expiration date, right? Because think about it. We only go 2 or 3 generations before we just forget everything that's been handed down to us, all of our cultural significance and everything. So if a curse has been handed down just through I don't know, word of mouth, in about 2 generations, it's going to die out because nobody's going to even know what the hell that curse is about. So unless it's indicative of something that has been set there before and you're just unleashing unknowingly. What are you guys doing here?
Nothing.
It's like you're having a moment.
Have you heard of Christopher Hitchens?
Yes.
Do you know who he is then?
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher Walken is.
Christopher Hitchens is an atheist that wrote books about God and how he thought God was stupid. And he went around giving speeches on his beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. He died of throat cancer, right? To me, that's God telling you, shut the hell up. Right? So to me, that's God cursing him, telling him to be quiet.
But God doesn't curse things. And
Actually, God cursed a lot of things.
Did he curse himself?
He cursed the Cubs.
Is it? That's a
He can do
retroactive
whatever he
thing.
wants.
You think, oh yeah, that's just ironic, so it must be a curse.
God cursed. Let's see. What did all did God curse?
Well, there's a bunch of them. While you're looking that up, let's talk about Manchek Swamp.
Oh, okay. Let's talk on that one.
Have you heard of Manchek Swamp?
I won't even go
I
into
did
everything
when
God cursed
I
because
did.
there's an enormous list.
When you said, "Hey, I want to talk about what is it, Manchuck,
Is one of them Tom's genitals?
Manchuck?" No, that's little boy Chuck.
Turlet. So,
Little boy Chuck, is that what you said, Bill? Asian Chuck.
Manchek Swamp is the legend of Julia Brown. So Julia Brown was a voodoo priestess who basically people would come up to her and command them to do things for her or for them. And over time, she eventually got tired of being told what to do instead of her doing and practicing the way that she wanted to.
Like Jafar.
From Aladdin?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
He got sick of being told what to do all the time.
Yeah.
And then he cursed him.
Okay. Anyway, so the day before she died, she sang on her front porch, "If I'm going to die, I'm taking all of you with me." Well, she ended up dying, and the next day, a hurricane hit the town that she was in and killed hundreds of people. It was like 300 to 400 people.
What's the name of the curse again?
If you look up Manchek Swamp,
How do you spell that? M-A-N...
SWAMP.
IT is how you spell it.
Yeah, Manchek is MANCHAC.
There it is.
That sounds a little dramatic. Like, I'm going to kill you all.
Well, here's the thing. One of her most terrifying predictions came true in 1915, which was on the day of her funeral. Just before she died is when she said, "If I'm going to die, I'm taking all of you with me." The town was putting her body in the ground when a hurricane ripped through the area, completely destroying 3 villages and killing hundreds of people. Even today, you can go out there on the swamp and bodies will just float to the top of the water.
Bog bodies.
Basically, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So there's theories about it. You know, you can hear women singing, you can hear people screaming, and, you know, because it's Louisiana, they've got werewolves in the swamp. So, but that's a really interesting concept for her to die and say, I'm taking everybody with me, and literally while she's being buried, everyone goes with her.
Maybe she's just one of those people who could feel it in her toes and knees. Like, the weather's changing. I know I'm going to get them.
So she predicted
Hurricane?
the hurricane from her knee pain.
Yeah.
I guess that worked.
Well, now when you're dead, like you're gonna predict like, I don't know, you'll be like, oh, my little toe hurts. I must be dying tomorrow, but my pinky's got a little twing in it, so there's gonna be a storm too. The day after.
No, it was while she was being put in the ground. They dropped her in the ground, and then the water from the hurricane filled the hole back up, and she floated away.
Do you think it was a well-attended funeral?
It was actually.
Yeah,
It says
everyone else died.
Everyone was there.
It's a party to die for.
wow, yeah, close to 300 people died. Almost 60 in the Ruddock area alone. When the storm cleared on October 1st, the town had been completely destroyed. Homes flattened, buildings demolished, and miles of railroad track had been washed away. One of the few survivors later described how he clung on to an upturned cypress tree and shut his ears against the screams. How does he hold on and shut his ears? I don't know.
Maybe
how he,
he
did that.
he had really strong thighs and was just like holding on to the
against the
tree with
screams of
his
those
legs.
drowning in the swamp. But if you listen to the guide to take the tourists into the swamp, the storm was a result of the wrath of Julia Brown. Brown, they say, laid a curse on the town because she felt taken for granted. That's why you don't take people for granted.
Don't we all, though? I mean, how many curses do you think are swirling around now?
Oh, at least 6 on me alone.
There is a graveyard marker, but it's a prop. It's not real. So if you go out there and look for the grave marker,
Well,
the
yeah,
grave,
because one of the stories
not
is they just had so many bodies and everything flooded that they just kind of left it there. So there's no telling how many of these people who...
It's a prop. Who makes a fake headstone and puts it out there?
People that want to do tours and make money.
Yeah. Like, hey, Chamber of Commerce, let's make a foam headstone.
Bogman boat tours.
Bogman boat tours. That's not
Copyright.
a bad idea.
that's really interesting. That I've never heard of that story before.
It's a cool place.
It's the funny thing is it's one of those things you feel you have to Google because you go, this isn't real.
Yeah.
And then you Google it and you're like, oh, that really happened.
Because
Like
everything
Mommy
on the
Brown.
internet's true.
It is.
You know, there is a place here in Idaho that's it's called the Gotts Point by Lake Lowell. And it's been reportedly haunted. And it's, I guess you would call it a cursed place because the lore around it is Native American. I'm not even sure what it is, but it's just that it's been the story for at least 50 or 60 years that if you go out there and park underneath a certain tree that they've since kept you from being able to park under, things will screw with your car. And the only reason I know this is because my dad related this story to me, and he actually has his own experiences of being able to look down his car and having it shake back and forth like somebody was trying to get in his car when he and his, I don't know, girlfriend at the time, I think, were out there necking. Watching submarine
So
races.
that was what was causing the car to shake.
No, because something seemed like it was trying to get into the car, and he could look out the window, and it was one of these older 50s cars where you have to push the button and then pull the handle.
Gotcha.
So the button's pushing,
Interesting.
and the car's shaking, and he couldn't get it started, and then he got himself the hell out of there.
You said something that was I still find fascinating when people say reportedly haunted.
Reported.
Reportedly how?
But
Did
haunted.
Larry King go out there and do a scoop on it?
Yeah. With the
Or was it just because Cousin Clem said, hey man,
Well,
I
that's
saw a
the thing.
ghost over there?
What
And he
is
goes,
the
that's
difference
reported.
between cursed and haunted? Between
Cursed.
Well,
Okay, so the concept
in the
of
belief system of cursed and haunted, you have to believe a place is cursed. You have to believe a place is haunted, or else it doesn't have any power over you.
well, to an extent, yeah.
Does the curse still dictate what happens if you don't believe in it?
It depends. It depends on what the curse is. Like if you have, let's say you go into a Foot Locker and you get toe fungus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who goes in there is getting toe fungus. Is that because the Foot Locker is cursed, or because
The curse of Jordans.
Yeah, or these people are just dirty assholes?
Well, so King Tut may have just had foot fungus and everybody else got it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And so did Julia Brown.
So the concept of a curse is it is a magical, supernatural, evil eye intention on a person or place in order to cause harm, discomfort, or some other sort of crossed condition, right? So a place can be haunted based on, let's say, someone died. Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I was looking up. I was trying to look up places in Idaho, but they're like haunted places in Idaho,
Yeah.
not cursed. One's the Egyptian Theater here in town, which I mean everyone says is haunted.
Because it's old.
But it says that the organ. It says that there's a ghost there named Joe, who many claim used to work at the theater for many years as a projectionist. Another common ghost sighting is of a female dressed in 1920s garb who is to blame for odd, unexplained odors. So she's basically a farting ghost.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Boo.
Oh,
girl
it's
ghosts
supposed to be
don't fart.
boo, not poo.
Girl ghosts don't fart. I'm just saying. Girl ghosts don't fart.
Yeah.
Why would they don't do it? They don't do it on here. Why would they do it in the afterlife? Girls don't fart.
I don't think
They
they
fluff.
Yeah, that's what they do. All right, so I want to talk about my haunted place, or no, my cursed place. So this is a thing that I've been watching for quite a while now, and I'm a little embarrassed to say that I watch it as much as I watch it, but it is Curse of Oak Island. And Curse of Oak Island, I know you guys, some of you haven't seen all the seasons. I have. I keep watching it over and over. And the first thing I want to say is the two brothers that are trying to search this, and they said that their name is Lagina, whatever.
Dos Laginas.
It's Lagina, but it's Lagina. Sorry, your name's Lagina. Just say it. Sorry, it's vagina with an L. It's Lagina. So stop pretending your name's. We're the Lagiguinas. No, you're Laginas. These two guys like grew up watching this stuff, and I remember as a kid watching In Search of, and they talked about the Curse of Oak Island, and the story being that in the 1700s or whatever, there was a hole in the ground or a little dip, and they started digging, and every 10 feet they'd find these oak boards. And keep in mind that, and I'm not a tree doctor, so I don't know about how this works, but they say the island, which is off the coast of Nova Scotia, there shouldn't be oaks on this island, but the whole island's full of oaks. They dug around, they found a layer of oaks, dug a little more, found a layer of oaks like every 10 feet, and then they found this stone that it said, "Here lies below this treasure." And it was like, "Oh, yay, treasure." And then they kept digging, and then it filled with water. And they're like, which, by the way, you're below, you're on an island, and there's the whole, like, just the oceans below you, or, it's being seeped into the ground. So, of course, yes, you're going to hit water.
Hold on. Why tell someone that there's a treasure underneath it and then booby trap it? Wouldn't it be easier just to leave
You
the
have
sign out?
kids. You should be able to answer.
It's the same reason you light dog poo and you throw it at someone's door. You just want to see them react. You want to prank them, but you want to see them put a little effort into it.
It's the same reason
It's
you wouldn't
poop
create
again.
a balloon and make it look like a cake.
It's the effort. It's a really elaborate practical joke. So then for this whole time, people have been trying to do it. People have spent their life fortunes. Hundredaires
Have they
go
ever
there.
found anything?
Well, now hold on. We'll go into that a little
Like a
bit.
brass kazoo?
They found some things. Kazoo would make my day. They keep finding Bobby Dazzlers. But the show itself, I keep watching it, and they keep coming up with these theories in here. But the curse is this. There's a curse. And they don't say where the curse comes from, but they do like, there's an island off the coast of Nova Scotia that is blah, blah, blah. And then they go, and the curse says that 8 people must die before they'll find the treasure. 7 have died. They need 1 more.
6 and 1, right? It's 7.
No, I think 8.
7 need to die. 6
7,
have died.
6 already died. So it doesn't matter.
Or is
But
it
actually,
like 14 or something like that?
I
and
don't
7 have died so far? I don't know.
I don't know. But even 2 people have died on the show while it's been going on. Like the 2 old people died.
Because they were freaking old.
They should have threw them in the pit as a sacrifice. and then right when they do that, like this door opens, like, oh, there's all the gold.
Right? It's like the
But everything is
Holy Grail. Don't they think that's there?
I think that's what would happen. That's exactly.
There's a lot
Well,
of
that. Oh, by the way, that has been discussed. There's always some guy that they go, today we have an expert that knows all about, well, I don't know, something dumb.
Everyone thinks
Everybody will tell you like, oh, my great grandfather once worked for a guy who had a book, and the book said that one time Shaquille O'Neal came in here and hid $80 billion. They're like, what? Shaquille O'Neal did that back in the 1500s? And then they keep finding stuff. But that's the Knights Templar. That's the, whatever
Treasure of the
King
Incas.
or
Yeah.
it was like Captain Kidd. There's all sorts of stuff they say. They're like
Marie Antoinette's gold.
yeah, everybody's treasure is supposed to be in there. And every week they have somebody coming in there and they keep digging. But the one thing is they spent 7 years digging in this one spot, but all around. They got all this equipment. Why don't they just freaking dig down and dig straight down? Dig. It's supposed to be like 200 feet. Everything's supposed to be. And by the way, they'll hit a rock and they'll go, we just hit a rock. And they go, that must be the concrete barrier to the gold. Next week on Curse of Oak Island. And then they go, oh, look what I found. I found another one. I found this. Oh my God. And then you're like, oh my God, what did he find? And then I watch it.
It's a stick or a nail.
Yeah. This nail's cold to be about 60,000 years old.
I found a button.
Bobby Tesla. And that's
the most exciting part of the show anymore.
but I keep frickin' watching it over and over and over because I keep thinking, and by the way, come on, man. Like, I would have given up in the first week.
This just proves you're an optimist because this show has been going on for 8 seasons.
7.
7.
8. If it goes on 8, I'm out.
It feels
I'm out
like
then.
20 years, but
How much money have these people?
an immense amount
Well,
of
and the funny
money.
thing is, it's History Channel. So History Channel's pumping money into this thing.
I want them to find Jimmy Hoffa.
To a point. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think you make a ton of money off of TV shows unless you're really hitting it. I mean, I bet if they're in the 8th season, they're probably making like $100,000 an episode. Wouldn't you say?
You could not be any further off.
You think?
Well, I'm sure the show's being financed quite a bit, and revenue in TV shows are so much more now that because these shows are getting picked up
So
by
how much-
Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime, and people are making all this other residual money that goes
So
on
how
and
much
on
do
and
they
on.
make an episode?
How much are they making an episode? I could not begin to tell you, but I think it's History Channel's like highest paid show. Now it cost them a lot of money, but they had stuff like American Pickers. They were making so much money on American Pickers.
Right.
They were making crazy amount of money. And of course, that spoiler alert, that show's fake.
It's TV, people. I mean, Ryan and I have done some production stuff, and it's all guided. There's not a damn thing on TV that isn't at least put in a way that makes you want to watch the next episode, even if they find nothing.
Well, and I keep watching it. I know nothing's going to come of any of this. They're not going to find anything. And if
what are
they
they
did,
looking for?
they may have already found.
Treasure.
They're looking for the
What
treasure.
kind? From who?
They don't know.
It's a
Are
buried
you-
treasure.
Did you just get here? We were just talking about it. All the gold that's going to be there.
No, you said gold and water.
That's
and
enough.
oaks.
Gold.
But we said,
Gold!
like, a lot of people go, like, they said the Ark might be there. They say the Knights Templar put their gold there. They don't know. They say Captain Kidd.
It could be the
a
Incas.
lot of
But
different.
why I'm asking is, why do they think all these people went there?
There's a lot of different because of every week they'll come for another reason why. They'll come and say, "Oh, look, I
I mean,
found
there are
this."
some legitimate reasons. Like the old sailing patterns go right next to Nova Scotia.
So the reason why people think that there is something buried on Oak Island is that there's been artifacts from pirate treasure to Shakespearean manuscripts, and they think the Holy Grail's there, the Ark of the Covenant, and they think that the Knights Templar went there and buried them. So
Like there's one story, and this is a true story. There was a slave, and he was freed, and he went and bought property on that island.
Okay.
And then one day, out of the blue, he became a millionaire. At the time, which would now be probably close to a billionaire. They don't know. He just was like, I'm a
after
millionaire.
his
And he
death, he
leaves.
ended
He
up
was
having a
he was
bloodline.
growing cabbage on this island. He was a cabbage farmer. And then one day he's like, I'm a billionaire. And then he was gone.
He
Like,
just
well, where do you get all his money? I mean, cabbage, unless it was a good price on cabbage that year, I can't see that happening. So that was one of the things they talk about. Like, and the funny thing is this island apparently had tons of people living on it. I don't think there's only like 2 houses on it now, but they keep finding these spots where they go, look, oh, we just found another cave with something in it. But then they go, oh, we can't touch it. We're not allowed to touch it. And then somebody will say, look, we found this rock, and they'll go 3 miles away and they'll go on this other little tiny island or something. They go, see how this rock points right at the island? They're like, oh my God, it does.
Well, that's the frustrating thing that Jen and I were talking about when we watched that show. Is like
You're talking to me about 200 years of search, about huge excavations of land that have left it really raped. And they just invite some guy with a metal detector out, and he's found like 90% of their evidence to date with a metal detector 4 inches under the ground. So you're telling me in 200 years, nobody's went around and actually just looked on the ground?
So, wait. How? Okay.
Well, we're talking about the curses. I mean, we can go into the show all day long.
Yeah, I would be happy to move on.
Yeah, so listen, spoiler alert, they haven't found anything yet.
And they probably
And I'm
won't.
on season 7, which is I've been watching all the episodes. There might be a new one on now. But the Legina brothers haven't found anything. So, but with that, Tanya,
So I have a few little cursed places because
we're not talking about Tom's genitals anymore.
not all curses are death and illness. I mean, if I had a curse that's like anyone that wrongs me, your shoes will never stay tied. That would be a pretty fucking annoying curse.
Until you get those Velcro shoes.
So, but even then, the Velcro would never stay. Your shoes will never stay fastened.
Okay, there you go.
So even if you had zip, they'd come unzipped. But there's some curses, and it's mostly of people taking things from places where they're sacred places. So you're supposed to leave them as they are. So there's an island in Thailand, and it's the pebbles of Koh Hingham. Hingham? I don't know, Hingham. But it's a very tiny uninhabited island that has these beautiful black stones on it.
Like River Rock?
They're, I don't know. It's a tiny little island that has these black stones on it. And it's apparently a pretty popular tourist spot for people to at least go by, and occasionally people will stop at it. And according to Thai mythology, the island is cursed by the god Turutau. So if you even take one pebble off the island, you're forever cursed. And there are a lot of the National Park Office manages a ton of packages that they receive from all over the world of tourists sending the stones back because they're trying to get rid of the bad luck that has ensued them since they took the stone.
So what if you're walking, on Ching Chow, right? I don't know what you called it.
That's not racist.
I didn't mean it racist.
Koh Hingham.
What?
Koh Hingham.
Ho he hom.
No, it's still racist. That's still super racist.
And what's the guy's name? Tur?
I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's Tarutao.
Char?
Tarutao.
Naruto.
I'm getting okay. It doesn't matter. What happens if you're walking on this and you get one stuck in your shoe and you don't realize that you're taking it with you? Is it an intentional taking, or is it?
No, you're still screwed.
You're still screwed.
I think so.
I would think you're still screwed.
What happens if you're walking off the island and it stays on the boat?
This goes back to my original.
Then the
thought of
boat's
it's
cursed.
The
But
belief
you're
system
not
you put
cursed?
into it.
So if
No,
I
it
took
says the person is
one,
cursed.
if I took one
So
and gave it to Tom, would he be cursed, or would I be cursed?
You'd be cursed.
What if I give it to you?
you're the one that took it.
If you remember when the Brady Bunch went to Hawaii and they got that tiki and they kept Peter found it, but he kept giving it to people, and every time somebody wore it, they got hurt. Like Greg almost died surfing. Do you remember all that?
No.
I do.
Okay.
It was a very touching episode of the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
So that kind of explains it. If you want, you can watch that episode.
That explains
So
It'll-
it's the item that is cursed, not
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah. So give it to somebody that
That's
you
what I'm
give it to
saying.
Tom.
So if you give it away, then what?
Then I guess that person becomes cursed.
If that's the case, I want to go get a bunch of them.
That's
Yes.
my other thought. Like, which god cursed this island?
Turtle.
The beach? Naruto Island. Anyway,
John Turturro?
yeah. So if it got cursed by some god who is not worshipped or really known by anybody, is that curse still?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an effective curse from here till eternity.
Well, I mean, it's still current.
So if someone mailed you a black rock and said it was from Turtle, and you had no idea who that was, would you still be cursed? Or if you knew who that was and believed the rock was from there, would you be cursed?
If I sent you an email and told you if you didn't send it to at least 10 of your friends.
Oh, don't. That's real. It's true. That's not cool, man.
So, there's a bunch of places like that have those kinds of curses that are if you take something. So, Gettysburg is even that it's if you take any of the stones or anything from Gettysburg, then you're for all eternity wrought with misfortune.
Is there any proof of that, though?
No.
Because that's a really good curse to investigate.
But that's also another curse that is on the ghost town of Bodie, California. It was a gold town, and then it declined, and then it was just had fires. So by the 1950s, they just declared it a ghost town, and in 1962 they designated a historic park. But it's just decaying buildings, and things are falling apart and stuff. And what happened is that the park rangers basically said to all the people visiting, well, don't take anything, everything's cursed. If you take anything from this area, then you're cursed and are going to have bad luck. And so, of course, anyone that takes anything starts sending things back because they feel like they're cursed. That was started by the park rangers because people just kept taking little pieces and artifacts.
That's
so they started this curse
because they don't want to deal
because
with it.
They didn't want people basically picking apart this reserve.
Insert anything at that point. Exactly. I saw you scroll past it, Bill, and I was going to talk about
the Hope Diamond.
The Hope Diamond? Yeah.
There's one thing you're going
to
talk
that was one
about,
I was thinking of.
An item being cursed, passing from people to people, and supposedly being the item curse, it would have to be the blue diamond.
You could also talk about Little Bastard, too.
Yeah.
The car that everyone who got a piece of
James Dean's car.
Yep. Everyone died in a car wreck.
What's that curse of Otzi you just went past? Because I don't see any problem. I've never heard of a curse from Otzi the Iceman.
It was discovered in 1991 on the Austrian-Italian border. He was a Bronze Age man who died probably during an enemy attack. The guy who found him or did the forensic work died 1 year later. The guide who led him to the body died in an avalanche shortly after.
Well, that's like a hazard.
Helmut Simon, who first discovered the body, died from a fall while hiking in 2004. And Dita Warnek, who headed the rescue team to look for Simon's body, died in a heart attack just hours after Simon's funerals. This may seem like quite a series of coincidences, but given the hundreds of people who have been involved in the research of Otzi, the number of deaths are not that unusual. So that is, again, going back to, like I said, about the Poltergeist movie.
Yeah,
when you get 150 people. Now, given, like, somebody goes, oh, it's so weird that a guy that was hiking in the died. Like, I bet if he stayed home that day, he'd still be alive. He went hiking and got an avalanche. Or the guy fell from a cliff. Well, he was on a cliff.
Well, but it sounds like they're also doing something that they do regularly. So
yeah, like me sitting on a couch.
Well, yeah, even if you do something.
And you know what? It would not be crazy unusual if you died on the couch because it's something you do on a regular basis. Yeah. So it wouldn't be that the couch is cursed. It would just be that that's something that you were doing.
Yeah, I probably was choking on one of those pistachio nuts that Costco has. Those salt and pepper ones that are so
like on
good.
Beavis and Butthead.
But yeah, that's like, I don't know. By the way, the inscribed threat that was on the tomb said, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the kings." That's what it said on King Tut.
So that's sexist.
Well, and I read something.
It was
when we were researching.
Ladies first.
Isn't it William Shakespeare's epitaph? Pretty much says like, "Blessed are the people who leave these stones, and cursed are the people who move my bones." Something like that. And it's pretty much the whole thing is like, hey, you're going to come and. We know grave robbing is a huge problem right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a curse out there So if you believe in it, don't touch me.
I actually have read the curse again that was on the.
It said slippery and wet. No, it said
Anything's better when wet.
death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king.
So
Hey,
that is the
it rhymes.
key word.
He.
Him.
Who? Him.
It's in the time when the excavations were happening, it was fairly sexist era where, I mean, men were much more higher regarded, where in the actual Egyptian times,
days.
that wasn't quite the case.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
So if they really were writing that, they would not specifically say him. They would say to whomever
Yeah, but
disturbs.
I think it's been most languages that an unknown sex is referred to as a him. Like it used to be in English before lunacy took over.
Well, here's the thing: if you discover the tomb, you can literally say it said whatever the fuck you wanted to say.
True. Because how many people are actually going to see?
Right? It could have been like Beyonce's song about lemonade.
But that's the thing. When you talk about, like, at least King Tut's tomb, that was one of the first archaeological digs that was cataloged, that was actually scientifically done, that got photographs. So some of that stuff exists. So some of that stuff you can't manufacture. You're right. I mean, like that Oak Island thing, that 90-foot stone they talk about, who the hell knows? That's all speculation. Like they're talking about a stone that nobody's ever seen that got supposedly translated wrong 80 years after that nobody's seen since then. It's ridiculous.
Do you guys know about the Madden curse?
Mad?
The Madden game curse?
What?
Yeah, so for years and years, anybody that appeared on the cover of a Madden sports
Oh, yeah, I
game
have heard that.
ended up having like terrible seasons, like horrible seasons. I think some people even like didn't play the next year, like got hurt. That's a good curse, but again, it goes back to the whole coincidence thing.
They need to put the whole Patriots team on the cover.
Yeah. See, that's the other one I was going to talk about. The Superman curse.
Oh, the Superman curse, yeah, because that's
What's that one?
You don't know about that? That's almost everybody who's portrayed Superman has had either like a career ending. It's been either a career ender for, or they've died, or they've had misfortune, or they broke their neck.
George Reeve, the first person that played Superman. He ended up
TV
killing
Superman,
himself.
Yeah. Well, supposedly that's part of that big like Hollywood murder. He might have gotten murdered. He might have killed himself. But yeah, and then Christopher Reeves broke his neck.
What about the Black Dahlia? Right?
Yeah, that was pretty much.
Well, that wasn't a curse, though. That was just
It's
a.
called the Curse of the Black Dahlia.
Why do they call it a curse?
I'll look it up.
Because people like to say curse.
They do. They enjoy it.
Well, here's one I've never heard before. This is called the Crying Boy painting. Nothing like a masterpiece, but this painting of a young boy was set on the walls of multiple homes throughout Europe. However, folks in the home ended up being victims of fires and explosions. Even though the home would be burned to the ground, the Crying Boy painting would be found completely intact in the aftermath. By the way, that's a really creepy picture. That's a really creepy boy picture. Like, I would not hang that. It says it gets better. Even a priest was warned that the painter warned the painter that each home that the boy was let into was wait, hold on, I got ahead of it. Even more bizarre about the supposed curse, the fact that the painter claimed that he had made the painting of a wandering orphan whose parents had died in a house fire. It gets better. Even a priest had warned the painter that each boy the home went to was destroyed by fire one time or another. The painter didn't believe him and took the boy into the studio and painted him. But sure enough, his studio caught on fire as well and burned down, causing the painter to banish the orphan from his presence.
Damn oil paint.
Get out of here, orphan.
Mummy Brown.
I don't know.
It's all that
The Curse of Sinatra? I don't want to.
The
That's
Sinatra curse? See, that's the thing. There's so many ridiculous curses. I mean,
if you had a curse named after you, what would you want it to be? Tanya, your curse?
Mine would probably be the coughing curse.
So what would happen? Somebody does what and they...
You just cough a lot?
I only say that because I have a current cough and I feel like I'm cursed. If someone were to wrong me, I would curse them with the coughing curse, where they just have a permanent cough. there's a tickle in their
I was
throat,
gonna say, it'd be almost
and it's
worse
just
to almost to have the tickle without the cough.
the tickle without being able to cough.
Yeah.
And nothing would make it stop or make it go away. That would probably be one of my curse, or the shoelace curse. It would just, I'm not trying to kill anyone. I'm just trying to make their life really inconvenient.
Curse of the itchy rectum.
Ooh. My other one would be every time they drove or walked, whoever was in front of them would be extremely slow. And you wouldn't be able to go around them.
Amazing. Yeah.
I am really good at bad
I would
curses.
want one where it always felt like there was a really long hair on the back of their tongue.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
That's terrible.
Good.
So there exists kind of a Bledsoe curse, at least that my friends used to tell me about back in high school. They say you're going to fall victim to this Bledsoe curse, and it's pretty much that my dad got married, had a couple kids, got divorced, got married, had a couple kids. Then my older brother did the same thing. Then I got married and had a couple kids and got divorced and got married. But there's no more kids. So, I mean, like, it's half the curse.
Half the curse.
Half the curse. But I don't know if that's like what you were saying, when it's like, predisposition, right? It's got to be self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, I think.
Yeah.
My curse is going to be if anybody ever parks and takes up like 2 spots, like where they could have just got one, then they get in their car and they start it, and their radio only plays Creed.
Ooh.
Like their radio will only play Creed,
Like
or Christian rock.
Well,
like
they
those
like
the-
Christian rock though.
I bet you
What?
park like a
So
dick.
what if they like Christian rock?
Creed
Nickelback
and Nickelback. It's Creed and Nickelback going back and forth.
at the same time?
It is into
And
one
Hinder.
song.
Let's put that back on there, too.
Yeah, so I think that's it. That would be my curse. I don't know what we'd call my curse. Tiny's reading something.
How to name your curses.
It's no, it's the Curse of Sinatra,
Oh yeah,
but it's very specific.
What?
Always have one button unbuttoned the wrong way.
The curse of Sinatra is, that's
It's
right.
now you're dead.
it actually is from one of his songs. And if people specifically in the Philippines sing My Way, people have a tendency to die. 6 people have been killed while singing it at karaoke in the Philippines in the last 10 years.
Seriously?
And none of them been of natural causes.
Okay, like right at the time, or like
In one case, a 29-year-old was shot dead by a security guard because they thought the guy was off key. Another story, the friend of one singer overheard the couple at the next table commenting on how shitty he was. So the friend, an off-duty cop, stood up and drew his gun on them, chasing them out of the bar. And
cops are really
it's
good.
there's a lot of theories about My Way triggering incandescent rage from people, and it kind of makes them go crazy and they kill each other.
Self-centered,
Philippines?
possessive.
That's the
jerk.
only place that it says that it happens.
and they have were they all shot?
They weren't all shot. It didn't say what some of the other ones were. I was looking up kind of modern day curses, and one of the other ones that I found was there's a phone number that's cursed. It is 088-888-8888. Anyone who has had this phone number throughout it's a lot of people have had it, but every single person has died. One died of cancer, one was shot to death, or car accidents. It was every person that had that phone number died of unnatural causes. And of course, there's the 27 Club, which a lot of famous artists died at the age of 27.
Zero. It's literally
It's zero and then just 8s.
Isn't Bieber like 26 now?
888.
I just want something to live for.
8888.
Are you calling it?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm calling it.
Somebody goes, hello, and they just die.
What?
What happened?
It said hang up and dial 911.
Holy cow.
Oh my God, you're gonna die!
That actually is scary to think.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it just patched me through and said hang up and dial 911. Weird.
So yeah,
All right. Well, that's curses.
Curds.
curds.
I want to alter my curse. It's
No. All right.
it's a pube on your tongue.
Oh. How do you get it? How do you get the?
That's the thing you don't know.
No. Oh, you don't know how the curse came to be?
Oh, you mean like okay? I thought you meant like you don't know whose pube it is.
Okay, and if it's a movie, now hold on. How do you get the curse? What caused me to get the curse from you? Just knowing you, or just being a person, or what did I
People
do?
who ask me stupid questions.
Tom, ask him this for me. Hey, now here's the other thing: is there a way to get rid of it? Is there a way to get rid of yours? Like how do if with me? I guess for if you parked like a jerk and took up 2 spots, and then you drove away, and your car only plays Creed.
Yeah.
If there's like somebody goes, they go to like a witch doctor, and they go. Like a little old gypsy, and they go, how to get rid of the curse? And they go, the only way to get rid of the curse is if you die. And people are like, well, I don't want to listen to Creed anymore, and they kill themselves. That's how you get rid of mine.
You have to die. You have
Yeah.
to kill yourself.
Well, you would if you could only listen to Creed.
I would. You see, the Nickelback song "Photograph," right?
Look at
They
this
would-
photograph.
They would have to take like 1,000 photographs of themselves.
That would be
And
no
sing it
problem
every time.
for a lot of people
And but
nowadays.
sing
with
it
selfies.
every time.
Oh, there you go. How do they get rid of your tickle throat curse?
Well, now I kind of want to change it. I have 2 other ones.
Okay, tell me. Tell us.
One would be an itch in the middle of your back that you can't reach,
That's a good one.
and uncontrollable flatulence.
I think
So I've been cursed for how long now?
if you have like the compulsory need to be everywhere at least an hour early, and you have to show up to everything you ever go to at least an hour early and just wait it out, that would suck.
But I do that anyway. I get. I'm like
What is your problem?
because I hate being late. It's just like sucks being late.
Well, he doesn't get there an hour early.
No, but like the airport, I will.
But
An hour early.
if someone were to try to redeem themselves, one of my curses, I mean, I feel like mine would be more like hexes, where I'm cursing them because I saw them being a shitty person.
Like littering.
So if they were able to redeem themselves and prove that they were in fact not a shitty person, then I would lift the curse.
What if you're not around?
And how would you lift the curse?
I would say you have been redeemed. The curse has now been lifted.
You might be a better person, but since you're not talking to me, I guess you're screwed.
I think to
But
lift
if
my
you
curse-
continue this way of life, your curse will reenact itself tenfold.
You see, for me, you would have to collect the pube hair from a wild blue jay to lift the curse. Yeah.
I see this being a movie.
Then you must chop down the tallest tree in the forest with a herring.
All right, and Tom, how do you get rid of your curse?
What is your curse?
Oh, actually, did we hear your curse?
No, I don't know. I don't really have any good curses.
Come on. I came up with 5.
People haven't crossed me that much in my life. I just do
What
things
about
that
like
are very
an
literal.
over-
I don't do curses. I just flatten tires.
An overproduction of Fromunda cheese.
An overproduction. You gotta scrape that shit out every 2 or 3 hours.
With like a tongue scraper.
You always feel like your butt crack is greasy.
How about
Swamp nuts.
Oh god, that would suck. What about the permanent 5 o'clock shadow? You can never get
No,
rid of
because
it.
that's like a fashion statement.
Not if you're a woman.
Your hair only grows into a flat top.
Oh god. I
That's
don't know.
bad.
And why would you? I would never want to have a curse be able to be lifted because I'm only going to put a curse on there if they really like. It's just a vindictive thing. Like I'm not just going to make a curse to make like humanity morally better. I'm just going to do it because they crossed me and screw them.
I want people to learn from their mistakes, so I feel like most of mine would be temporary. So if someone did the parking one for the next year, every time they tried to park somewhere, they would have someone that parked double parked, so they would now learn don't park like that. But I say that because I'm one of those people that would learn from things, but I feel like most people would be like, damn, happened again.
See, that's beneficial to them.
I don't want it to be beneficial to them. 'cause
I
the whole
just
reason of
want
the
people
curse
to
was
be
screw
better
them in the first
people.
place.
That's so sweet. You're such a good person.
No,
Yeah, even your curses are nice. You know,
My curse is that
Inconvenient.
everyone would learn a lesson and be better to each other. And then you have to hug. My curse is you have to hug people.
you have to hug 5 random strangers, or your back will itch forever.
my curse is
And then they have to hug people.
right. Everybody has to buy a Coke, but you can't drink it until we're all in perfect harmony.
Ready for this curse? If somebody wronged me, I would give them a giant bag of pistachios, and then but have none of them cracked, like that you couldn't stick your nails in. Oh god! So none, like every single one you would try and
What
stick
if they
your
don't
nail
like
in.
pistachios?
They do. Everybody does. But then every time you try to it would just jam. It would jam into your underneath your thumbnail or your fingernails when you tried to, but it would never open. So they'd have a bag of them, but they couldn't get them open.
Do you open pistachios with your hands, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you use? Your toes?
I use my teeth.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What kind of monster are you?
You just pull them.
They're
what do
like
you have to use?
beautiful little delicate tulips. You just go. Boop.
Yeah, just like that.
I just toss them in my mouth and part them with my teeth.
Do you eat
Those are sunflower seeds.
No, I throw the shell.
Are you sure you're not talking about? Are you sure you're not talking about M&Ms?
Yes, it's the peanut M&Ms. I've been found.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of pizza. Sorry, I got confused.
That's it.
Tom
If
knows.
every piece of chocolate you eat tastes like kale, there's a good curse.
No, that's gross. Well, Tom knows about seeds in his mouth, so he'll even know what he's eating.
I pay attention to what's in my mouth.
When he puts nuts in his mouth, listen up.
They better be salty.
He's not going to use his hands. You don't cup the shells? How come you don't cup the shells?
Yeah, I don't. They're not dainty nuts. You can take it.
That hand gesture was the best thing ever. All right. With that, I think we've said enough. We're at an hour and 1 minute.
Oh,
That's rather long
the
for.
curse of overrunning our shows.
This was episode 24. It would be the curse of the people that never made it to episode 25.
This is the career ender, everybody.
Nah, we'll be back because we're going to talk about the Giants. Those big
We are
Giants.
going
Not
to talk
the-
about giants.
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
find more
Giants.
stuff to talk about.
And
But
your curse
anyway.
to stay interested and keep listening.
Hey, first of all, there's red glitter on Ryan's shirt, so I want to know what happened with that.
Stripper.
But the other thing is, so let's remember that
That's a curse.
the red you got
Glitter is horrible.
made out with Krampus.
Oh, an ecological curse?
Well,
yeah.
that, but that would be a really bad curse if you just always had glitter on you somewhere and it just could never come off.
I did send an attorney a glitter bomb one time. Not a letter bomb. I should call it a pipe, a C4.
Terrorist.
I sent him a glitter bomb. I sent him one of those little things that you open it up and it explodes. Because he wrote me a letter, like a cease and desist letter, and I just sent him that. I sent him that, and I wrote, okay. Because you could have it sent, you could put a note in it. So I had it sent from a company to him.
You know what?
I never heard anything from him, so I'm assuming he got my response.
If there were be literal curses that we're going to put on this earth for somebody to just find later on, even if they had no knowledge of.
Oh, now he has a curse. Now he has a curse as we're
No,
closing out.
Sorry, wouldn't that be the nuclear stuff we've already buried?
No,
we're storing nuclear radiation.
Like Yucca Mountain.
That's not a curse. That's just
It's a curse if you
Impending
robots,
doom.
you just dig that crap up.
That's just as
Ninja
being-
Turtles are made.
That's true.
You leave them alone.
They're saviors.
They love pizza.
don't we all?
They're turtles in a half shell.
Turtle
They actually have a whole shell, I think. I don't understand that lyric. But yeah, like Chuck Lorre, the guy that wrote that invented 2.5 Men and shows like that. He's the guy that wrote that song. It was
I don't
really
think
weird.
he invented it.
He came up with the show. He came up with 2.5
It was
Men.
written.
He
It wasn't an invention.
He poured cocaine in a bottle of aspirin and came up with Charlie Sheen.
That sounds like if you rub it, Charlie Sheen comes out.
Yes. All right. So anyway, but with that, I think we're done. Anybody else want to add anything?
No.
We're by winning.
If you have any clever curses that you think would be fun
Pass them on
curses,
over to
Fun.
us.
let us know
We'll pass
what
them to
you
other
would do.
Or if you have any curses we didn't talk about that we should talk about.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, if you got just ghost stories or things like that you want to tell us, or if you have something you want us to talk about, you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. Our Instagram page was just Ghostumentary, which is my...
Which I feel like it's just been
Or
hijacked.
Bill's personal cell phone number, which is
888 yeah. Or whatever. I don't know. Find ways to message us. You can go to our website, eatdrinkandbemerry.com.
Scary.
Scary. Dang
Jesus
it.
Christ. It's the episode 24.
It is? I just got here. All right. Anybody want to say anything? Good night or anything like that?
Good night,
Anything like
Well, I feel we had been better than that. You want to lead us off in a song?
Tom.
Tom?
I'm not going to say
Tom, start singing.
Kumbaya. No, I don't know what.
That wasn't a song. That was just
That was
yelling.
you yelling. That was like Tourette's. That was like campfire Tourette's.
Ooh, that would be a good curse too. Right?
What about Tourette's?
That'd be a good curse.
Oh, that would be.
You
That
just
would be
randomly, say, I don't know, turlet.
Turlet.
All right, and with that, good night.
Good night.